you okay, Randy?
No.
What happened? What happened, Randy?
We just recorded a whole episode, and we did a great job because we didn't click record on the camera.
Who didn't click record?
That's why I've been laying on the table for 3 minutes, because it's my fault. Because I can't blame anybody but me, because I was in charge of the camera.
So it would be nice to finally get even muscleage on each side of the neck there.
Do you ever feel uneven? Like when you stretch, like when you wake up in the morning, if you stretch like one side, do you ever feel like uneven?
Like lengthwise?
Or just uneven?
I think. I know when I was younger, I destroyed my shoulder because I was forced to do football drills as a little like dangly boy because I was because I wanted to, I don't remember the circumstances. I happened to be in the football off-season class because that was the only thing that fit with my schedule because teachers are stupid. And so I destroyed my shoulder, and ever since then, I couldn't, like, my right shoulder doesn't do the same stuff my left shoulder does, you know?
Yeah, but so when you walk around, do you feel like one side's like heavier than the other side or one side's lighter than the other side?
I don't think so. I think it's just more of a like, oh, I don't work on one side, you know? It's not like I don't know how to, I don't know.
Never mind. No, I think you're normal. I was trying to see if I was weird, and so I do think I'm weird.
I also can concur.
Look, man, it's been a rough day. Can you be nice to me for 1 hour?
Can I? Should I? I could,
No.
but will I?
No, you won't.
I mean, content? Friendship.
Content over friendship.
100%. Any day of the whole week.
But when I got the tattoo on my chest, I felt like for the first week after, that this side, the left side of my body was like heavier than the right side. But
well, it is because there's ink in you now, so you're heavier.
Technically, but I just felt uneven. It felt like I wasn't, I don't know, I have a thing with like being symmetrical. As you know, our set is...
Yeah, designed to be symmetrical, even though initially we were going to make it asymmetrical, remember?
It still is asymmetrical. I mean, one poster up, one poster down, and then we were supposed to have there's plants back here, and we're supposed to have a tall plant over there.
But he died.
But he's gone.
Very, very dead. We couldn't get to him during Christmas break.
For months.
Very lonely plant.
Yeah.
Very
But
dead
he wasn't
plant.
completely dead when we came back.
No, that was the surprising part. Like, we managed to he was still alive. Because
we gave him a name. Do you remember what his name was?
No, we've given him a name like 3 times.
I know.
And we've forgotten every time.
I think the last one was Eduardo, but I can't remember.
I always name things Jeff, so I always like default to calling things Jeff.
It wasn't Jeff. I don't know.
But yeah, very dead plant. Very sad times.
We'll get another one and a fake one.
Yeah, a plastic one.
Well, that was the plan the first time, but I went and bought them, and I couldn't find a giant plastic plant, so I was like, I'll buy a giant real plant. So.
Oh, yes.
I thought we would be able to take care of it. I thought between the 4 of us, we could take care of it.
One plant. Yeah. I mean.
It was on us.
Yeah. I mean, if it was anyone's fault, it was ours.
Yep. Can't blame anyone but us.
Yep. And now that plant's death will forever be on our minds.
Yeah. We'll have to carry it like a stain upon our souls.
Anyway.
Are you still going to do the intro, or because I'm on this side now, do I have to do the intro?
I don't know. I feel like you want to try the intro?
No.
All right. Okay, fine. This is Media for the Intellectually Impoverished. I'm Taylor.
I'm Randy.
And this is the podcast that
enriches your mediocre lives.
We're on opposite sides of the set.
I was going to say, for those not watching, we changed where we're sitting on the set, so we switched seats.
Yeah. I thought it'd be funny.
And I wanted the nice chair for once.
That's true. It is a nice chair. It's a terrible chair, but also somehow
it's
nice.
Comfy. It's like it's a cushion, kind of like mesh chair, so it's nice to sit on instead of a stool. But it has the same problem as a stool, as you can't lean back. Because if I lean back, I go way back.
Yeah.
So I still have to sit up straight.
Which is the worst part. We need to get like nice gamer chairs. Donate your nice gamer chairs to us at wherever we end up, just like send them off. Just write Taylor and Randy on the packaging. They'll find us.
They'll find us.
We're iconic enough,
Yeah.
I feel like.
I'm so tired.
Are you?
Yeah. I had a long day.
What all was the things? I mean, you just had work and class? No, yeah, it's a Monday. You had class.
I had class. So I woke up, I had my omelet this morning, and I should have known it was going to be not a great day. So, because this is a busy week for me. So I thought, okay, I'm actually going to get up early and I'm going to go to the cafeteria and I'm going to get my omelet, my favorite omelet. And it's going to be a good sign of a good week. And I got it and it was below par. And I was like, this is fine. We're going to keep trudging along.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not like a marker for the rest of the week.
It's
like,
really not.
It's just an omelet, right?
It's just an omelet.
Whatever.
It's fine. And then I had class, and then I had to meet with somebody in between class and work, and then I went to work, and then I had a meeting, and then I had work, and then I had class, and then I had work, and then I had a meeting, and then I took a break, and now I'm here. I haven't eaten anything since that omelet.
It's not great. Not great.
Not. It is 7 p.m. and I had an omelet at 8:30 a.m.
That's not optimal.
Oh no, I lied. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. I lied. I did have Twix at about 2.
You had 2? Me and my microphone aren't getting along.
You can't stop messing with your mic.
I'm just.
For 1 second.
I'm sorry. Whenever I move.
So it's just a long day, and I'm tired, and I still have more stuff to do after this, which is fine. I signed up for this.
Yeah, this is all of my own doing.
So this is, it's my problem, but you just have to hear about it.
Yeah, you have to hear about it because you guys, we know you love hearing about things that we complain about. So we bring to the table more things that we can complain about by oversigning ourselves to things that we may or may not be able to accomplish because we want to create content for you.
Can I just say, well, first off, 2 things. I talked to Jesse today because I had a meeting with him about the other thing that I'm working on with him. And he said that he loves our podcast. Obviously, he's always raving about it. And he was talking about, he just finished the last episode, which was romance.
Yes.
The last one that's up. And because we ended it very abruptly because the camera died, and he said it was the funniest thing that neither of us kept going. The camera died, and we were like, nope, that's it. We're done. It's not an audio podcast anymore. The camera doesn't work. Sorry, guys. The episode's over.
Out. That's it. We're done. To be fair, it was like at the 56-minute mark or something. It was like...
But still, we could have finished our thoughts. We still could have done recommendations. We completely threw all of that out the window.
Who needs it? Who needs it? We missed recommendations for like 8 episodes in a row. Who needs them now? I don't know.
We have not.
I just made up a number. I made up a number.
You're such a liar. Listen, I don't think once we have ever missed recommendations unless it was a bonus episode.
That's not true. That's not true because we mentioned missing it.
You're a fucking liar.
Because we mentioned missing recommendations in a different episode. I think in the romance episode we mentioned that we missed recommendations.
No.
Or
after the episode was done and we stopped the recording, I said that was the first time we missed recommendations.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, oh my God. What are we talking about today, Taylor?
That's a good question.
I said I had 2 things to talk about, and then I only said one of them, and you guys will never know the second one because I forgot it too. So what are we talking about today, Taylor?
Passion projects.
Whoa. That's it. We're so passionate about our projects. That's it.
I'm excited. I love coming up with new ideas. I love putting them in motion, and I love the process behind it. And that's kind of what I wanted to bring to the table today. I had no idea what you were planning at all. And did you take notes? Who knows? Well,
did you not just hear about my day? You think I had time to take notes?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
I really wanted to, and then when I got back to work for the 3rd time, it was really busy. So, I'm sorry. That's enough complaining. Okay, passion projects. You want to go first? Because you had specifics. I was just going to answer the questions that we have on the Google Doc.
I always forget we have questions on the Google Doc. Mm-hmm. Start with the questions. Let's see where those end up. Maybe we'll get to specifics.
They're good questions, and they will take us on, it'll be the whole episode.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so what are you working on right now? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? How does a creative plan for the future, and how do you realize and cultivate a dream? Those are really good questions.
Really good questions. So, start with the first one. Read that one again.
So what are we currently working on?
What am I currently working on?
Yeah.
I'll go first because I said, what am I currently working on?
Yeah.
And that means that I'm going first.
Mm-hmm. You did it to yourself.
A couple things. I mean, other than the podcast, I think that it's pretty obvious that this is currently our passion project, or at least my passion project being brought to life, which is super fucking exciting. It's really surreal because when I get into the editing room, every once in a while I'll be editing and I'll be like, damn, I'm really like up on the internet now.
Yes.
Like,
No, that's what hit me when because we have TikToks now and we have like YouTube shorts that get like, they're not going viral, but they get like 500 views. And I'm like, I'm on the internet.
yeah, people are seeing
500 people saw my face
Yeah.
and saw the stupid shit. 500 people heard you say power bombing.
Tom Holland, yeah. By the way, you guys should go follow those accounts if you aren't already. If you're following the Instagram, go ahead and follow the TikTok. It's the same
I gotta
app.
put the TikTok on the link tree now.
Oh, you do?
Oops.
Whoopsie.
I'll do it.
Do that.
But you can easily find us on TikTok. It's
yeah.
at MFTII podcast, like everything else.
Everything else. It's just short little snippets from the episode. It's just to gauge interest. And if you guys would go there, like the videos, share the videos, comment, and all that stuff would really help us with the algorithm to reach more people so that we can get the audience in, so that we can teach more people what we're doing. But anyway, this is like my passion project. But on top of that, I'm working on a couple of side things that I've been touching up on here and there, as like I have a graphic novel that I've been writing, working on. I say graphic novel instead of manga because everyone would be mad if I said
No,
manga.
I was laughing at what I was going to eventually talk about. I'm not paying attention to you.
Oh, great. That's
No, I turn off. Like my brain, like my ears turn off when you start talking. Don't look sad. You know that's what happens.
Don't look sad. You've been in this friendship for like at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you know that I just shut you out and I go, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, bro.
I know that for a fact because when I edit the episode and I talk, I just see little spurts of and yeahs along the way. I'm like, oh, she's not listening.
I'm not there.
Like the elevator is at the
But we-
top floor, but no one's home.
We still have good episodes though. I
we
make
do.
it work. I catch up eventually.
Not the sharpest light bulb in the knife drawer.
Look here. Look here. I am, just not when we're doing the podcast.
But I'm working on a graphic novel and then a serialized podcast. I'm actually writing pilot for that, which I'm thinking will end up being something I'll produce more recently than the graphic novel because that's more doable.
Yeah.
But those things there's stories that are like near and dear to my heart.
Do you want to tell us about one of the stories?
Yeah, I'll tell you about the easiest one to explain, which is the graphic novel.
Okay.
I've told before, I think on this episode where we talked about writing stories, that I have a propensity to write stories about relationships and how they affect people. And I even mentioned this story on that episode. I'm not sure if it was the initial recording or the re-recording because we lost that audio. But I mentioned it on one of them. Anyway, it's
okay.
Shut up.
I'm sorry.
Shut up.
Oh my god.
You said you turned off. I've decided to no longer be a feminist because Randy really hurt my feelings.
Are we gonna talk about? Can we talk about it?
Yes.
Okay.
Quickly.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. So the other day, after getting off of work, me and Josh, who was on the podcast last week, we were just talking, and out of nowhere, he turns to me and he goes, "You're a whore." Literally in the middle of a conversation, I finish my sentence. He just looks at me and he goes, "You're a whore." And so it was a joke because he was trying to do a riff on a John Mulaney bit where he calls the audience, or because he's talking about a horse in a hospital and he says, "You're a horse." And so that's what he was trying to say, but he just stopped at whore when he saw my face because I was not getting the joke. And so we laughed about it, was like, whatever. He went, and then I immediately texted Taylor and I was like, "Josh called me a whore," and did not let him know that it was a joke. So Taylor thought that Josh had actually called me a whore, and then you had a stern talking to with him.
I was furious. I was so mad because I'm like, you don't call people a whore. Like, because Josh can be over the top every once in a while. And sometimes he says things that he doesn't mean, or they come off the wrong way. And you texted me and I was like, "Are you being serious?" And you're like, you were like, "Yes." You said you were being serious and that your feelings were hurt.
And I almost cried.
And I was like, okay, well, now I got to talk to him because like, that's not okay. And so I go and I'm like, "Josh, I need to talk to you." So I like pull him aside into the side room and I'm like, "Man, like, did you call Randy a whore today?" And he busts out laughing. He's like, "Oh, she told you about the bit." And I was like, "It's not funny." I was like, "It's not funny. Like, you cannot call her that. She's really upset. You need to apologize right now." And he's like, "Is this a bit?" And I was like, "It's not a bit." Because I didn't know it was a bit.
It was a bit. It was the perfect. Josh called me afterwards and he was like, "Does Taylor know it was a bit?" And I was like, "Nope, he does not know it was a bit." And Josh starts freaking out. And then I suddenly realize what I've done because I didn't realize you were going to actually take it that far, that you were just going to say like, "Hey man, don't do that again." Not completely take him to the other room and be like, "That's not a joke." So I'm sitting there laughing at the chaos that I've caused, and I'm just so proud.
And then you just nonchalantly shoot me a text. It was a bit, and I was like, what?
And then I realized that wasn't enough, and then I started feeling really bad because I was like, oh, Taylor's gonna be so mad at me. He's gonna be so mad. And so I called you, and I'm like, it was a bit, it was a joke. I'm so sorry. And you're like, I gotta finish playing video games, and you hang up on me.
And I told the guys around me, and they were like, that's a weird joke. And I was like, I know.
I'm so sorry.
And so, yeah.
Hindsight, I'm so sorry.
I told her that I'm done being a feminist for her because I never know.
Because I betrayed your trust. I really didn't think you'd take it that far. I'm so sorry.
Sorry. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's great content because content goes before friendship. Okay. So passion project. I'm writing a story. It's about this old retired superhero who is sort of, my brain sharted and I lost all of my information. I'm writing a story about an old retired superhero who gets noticed by a young boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old. And this boy starts following the hero around because he idolizes heroes. And I want the story to sort of start off with a very light, sort of chipper, maybe happy-go-lucky kind of tone. But what I want to do is just sprinkle some dark undertones, like little pinpricks of darkness in the story, until finally the story sort of flips on its head and it's suddenly like a really, really deep, gritty story about like morality and like the grayness of humanity and what it looks like to fucking be a real person and like how that sucks and like depression and anxiety and suicide and like all these mental health issues are going through the characters and exploring that in a world where people that are superhuman exist, right? Exploring like what's mental health in that life, which some stories have done before, but my spin on it is I wanted to introduce like a young character and I wanted to see what that relationship would look like between the two characters as they continued, as I continued to reveal stuff to the audience about what happened in the past of the retired superhero's life and then what happened that made the young boy so interested in this superhero and then sort of how that is maybe not healthy or maybe isn't great to start with, but then maybe it turns into something good because, I think I said in that episode, I like exploring the grayness of humanity and maybe why you can do bad things for good reasons or good things for bad reasons and all that stuff. So that's my current, like, I'm thinking about this every frickin' day story. Mm-hmm. And I've got like whole arcs planned out in my head. I have some of it written down, most of it not at this point because I just continue making up stuff. But I'm excited. I'm in still in sort of pre-production and creating characters and what do they look like and the character designing part. And it's sad because I feel like my art isn't quite where I need it to be for me to really pin down what I'm like, this is what I envisioned in my head. But I'm like right on the cusp of a breakthrough, which is nice because I'm seeing
almost there.
I'm almost there. I really feel like I'm almost there. It's nice to finally recognize and see so much progress from where my art started to where it is now, and the ability to be like, oh, because I had one solid sketch of a character that I was like, I really like this sketch, but I need to do it again and I need to do it better. And I'm excited because I'm like right there to being able to consistently do something that good. So that's my current like brain child.
Fascinating.
That's what I'm working on. What are you working on? Pranking your friends more?
Well, no, I don't think you understand how embarrassed I am because I can look back on it now and can be like, wow, that was a really dick move. Like, that was a real dick move of me.
I don't think I've ever heard you say dick with such, like, contempt.
Because I'm so mad at myself. I should have realized what was going to happen and I didn't because I was doing it for the lulz.
I just wanted to make people laugh, but that people was me. It's okay. Josh and I aren't like mad or anything. We think in fact, he thinks it's hilarious.
I'm glad that he thinks it's hilarious because I feel like you actually are mad at me, like down.
No, I'm not mad at you. I think it was fucking
That's
dumb.
Fine. I think I know it was dumb. Okay. No, deep down you're mad, and you won't say that you're mad, but I know you're mad.
Do you want me to pretend that I'm mad so you feel better?
Yes.
I'm so upset. How could you do that to me?
You see, that's what it would have been like had I told you it was a joke. You wouldn't have gotten through to Josh. Because you didn't know it was a joke, you were able to scare him.
Did I actually scare him?
Yes!
Good.
See, that's what I'm saying. Why aren't you happy?
Oh no, that's so bad.
What am I working on? I have multiple things. I'm currently writing a horror short film for my senior project. And I don't really want to talk about it because one, I think half the people who listen to this have already heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is I don't want to keep ruining the ending.
The ending, yeah. I
to
agree.
explain it, I kind of have to explain the ending.
And that's one thing that you have to figure out is when you're pitching.
How to pitch it,
Pitching things, without spoiling things is so difficult.
Well, no, when you pitch something, you have to give, the elevator pitch doesn't have the spoiler in it, but if you're actually pitching a show or a movie to executives to get money, you have to tell them a twist.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
In that point. But I think when you're just this is my story.
When you're telling people, just strangers or things like that, yeah. Can I do an elevator pitch for it? It's a cross between Interstellar and Paranormal Activity, where we are following two people in two different timelines as they traverse what it means to be alone and not alone at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
How their actions have affected each other over the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Sick.
it. That's all you get.
That's all you get. Little tease.
The other
little
thing.
Teaser.
It is. But because you talk about the thing that's been on your mind every day that you're constantly just kind of tweaking is a sitcom that I want. And I've talked about it before on here. I think I have. I don't think I've explained it to its full extent, but I've talked about how I think my life is a sitcom. And so I'm going to make a sitcom about my life. And so that's what I every day. I constantly think of little what happens in the day, I could twist this and make this a whole episode. I know the character arcs. I know the characters that I want in it. And obviously everybody's based off of a different person in my life. And I was telling Josh about this the other day. And I was telling him that so in every sitcom, you have 5 main characters. So you have I don't want to say the main character because none of them are main characters. And I got into an argument with Josh about that in sitcoms, there is no main character. Everybody is the main character.
Typically. I would say that there are some sitcoms that will focus in on one character more than others, but
in specific seasons over the whole show, there's no main character.
Yeah. I can't really think of one to counter argue that, so I agree.
Go ahead. Do it, because Josh couldn't think of one either.
I just said that I couldn't think of one. What more do you want from me?
You to cry.
I'm real close.
So there's the main characters. The way that I've broken it down is not the mom. My character is the
glue of the group.
Yeah, I guess the glue of the group, but the neurotic one, the one who's OCD, the one who follows the rules, the Monica of the. I'm gonna use Friends because that's everybody kind of follows Friends, but there's the nice one, the kind and but has neurotic tendencies and has to follow the rules and everything has to be by the book. And the smart one, I don't know how to. That sounds narcissistic of me. But that would be my character in the show. Then you have the player. You have the pretty boy, which would be Josh.
So much.
Yes, 100% is Josh. And then I said there has to be a funny one, and Josh looked at me with such sadness in his eyes. And he said, "Who's the funny one?" And I said, "Josh, look at my life, and who do you think the funny one is?" And he's like, "I know who it is, but I don't want it to be him." And I was like, "Yes, the funny one is Tayler."
I've achieved moral victory.
He was so upset that he wasn't the funny one, but he's like, "I get why you have to, but I don't like it." You have the eccentric one, the one who's kind of off her rocker, doesn't play by any rules, goes by the wind. And that combines a couple of my friends because I have many people who are like that. Mm-hmm. You have the outsider. There has to be an outsider. Every sitcom has an outsider coming in. Don't know who the outsider is yet because I haven't had an outsider come in yet.
Oh, interesting. But you must write one even if there is no one.
I know. I'll figure it out. I've been playing with an idea of me having a love interest at the beginning of the show, but you can't. I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I can just replay all of the pilot episodes of sitcoms in my head, and nobody really starts out in a relationship except Pam with Roy, who obviously that ends so she can get with Jim, but you need to keep your core people available so that they can be shipped with other people, and you have like the audience is coming in and wants to see how that relationship will develop over time. If you start with your, especially like your main one of your female roles in a relationship, you already like cut that in half of like viewer participation.
Unless the relationship is centered around that being the butt of a joke. Right? I would say that if because I can think of in MASH, Hot Lips and Frank are in a relationship, but they're the butt of the jokes all the time, and that relationship is the butt of the jokes all the time.
And you also have Marshall and Lily, who start in like with an engagement, but they're also their character kind of blends into one character. I was doing character synopsis on all of the like pilot episodes of sitcoms, and I really couldn't find anything for Marshall, like what was his defining personality traits, because he really like just melds in with Lily. Like they are the married couple. Like that is what they are. Anyways, that's what I'm constantly thinking of is new ideas for that, and then how to make the pilot episode. I already know how I want the first season to end, and like the song that I want to play in the car, because the whole show takes place in a car. It's called HOV Lane, and so it'd be going around Houston. Josh was also going to fight me about the location, and I said, no, we've had enough sitcoms in New York and LA. We're having a sitcom in Houston. So I've thought a lot about this, and I keep thinking of ideas. That was my point of bringing up the horror story again. I'll stop now.
You don't have to. You're on a roll.
I feel like I'm talking way too much about it, but that's like, I can't wait to make that.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Like my big thing, though. That's like, I gotta get my foot in the door, and I gotta get a big budget for it. So that's the thing is one of the things when you have to think about when you're creating projects in your head is which one is the doable one. Because initially I wasn't going to stick with the superhero story. That wasn't my big story. My big story is like I love epics. I love the Iliad, the Odyssey, those stories that span over a long period of time. I love stories where you see characters grow and mature and age and stuff. That's just what I like. Like, yeah,
all
and
that
that's
stuff.
okay, but it's wrong.
That's cool. It's cool. You're wrong, but it's cool. It's cool that you like that. But my real big story is this epic telling of story of two, not brothers, but like best friend brothers, basically, that are in the medieval times that end up like going separate ways, and like a war breaks out, and those two are like the head of each clan at war, and telling that story. And that's like my big, like, this is going to take me years to finish story. And I realized that as much as I wanted to tell that story, I did not have the resources, I did not have the time, I did not have the artistic ability or the storytelling ability to really tell that story to its fullest extent. So I came up with a new story, or I found a new story on accident in my brain, that I was like, this is something that is doable with where I'm at, that'll lead me to get the skills and the resources I need to tell that big story.
The bigger one, yeah, exactly.
So I think my biggest piece of advice when people are like, I have this huge project I want to do, I told you the same thing when you were choosing between doing this pilot and doing the horror short film
for my senior project. You told me to go with the bigger one, which you thought was going to be the short film. No, it's the sitcom. It's so much bigger. I got whole arcs for characters over seasons, like you were saying with your other. Yeah, I have it all planned. My advice for you guys, for people that are trying to decide what to start with when it comes to creating media, start with your second favorite project. Don't start with your favorite project, because you never finish and you never get it to what you want it to be if you start with your favorite project. And then you'll be let down. You'll feel kind of like gross because you're like, oh, this was my thing, but I didn't finish my thing. I know I've heard stories from our friend group of people that have gone out to shoot these crazy films and they never finish them and they never turn out right, and they end up not liking the film because of it. I've heard stories of people reshooting those films and liking them much more, and like after gaining the experience. And so that's sort of where I get this idea, as well as other artists have told me the same thing, because it's difficult when you lack the abilities that you need and the resources that you need to be content with the story that you've told. Yeah.
Even if we were to finish these stories, I feel like there's always going to be things when you're lacking that stuff that you'll be like, I wish I could have done that better.
Yeah, you're always going to have, I mean, it sounds bad to say, but there's always going to be some like kind of regret. There's always going to be, I could have shot that better. That could have turned out better. I wish we would have spent a little more time on that, a little bit more on the cutting room, like floor. That is being a creative, because you come up with new ideas, you change over time in projects. Like like sitcoms and movies take years and years to make, and you as a person, you as a creative change over time, and so it's not always gonna match up. You're always gonna look back and be like, oh, that would have been nicer if it had done this, but you'll appreciate it for what it is because it got you to where you are.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that there's something whole about being like, I am done with this project. It has reached its finale. It is what it is, and it forever will be this thing.
Yeah.
And then there's something cathartic about that, you know. What's the next question though? We were asking questions.
Yes.
No,
we
wait,
were
say your
answering-
thing.
I was gonna say my thing, because don't take it to an extreme of, yes, do your like second project, don't do your favorite project. What was the reasoning? Because my point was just, I mean, we've said it before, but just go out and create, because that was something that I had, like, don't be afraid to start a project because it's not going to be perfect. You have to develop those skills somehow, and that's something that I've had to come to terms with over the course of the past couple of years, since even starting this podcast, that they can't all be bangers.
They can't all be bangers, man.
But you will develop those skills. And I think that was something I was terrified of, was like, I could do it and I might still not develop. No, you will. And I can look back now and I can say that I am much better equipped than I was freshman year. And I know in another 5 years, I'll be better equipped than I am today. And our next question is, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
The segue of all segues. You're getting so much better at podcasting than you were when we started.
I do this every week or something.
Oh my goodness. It is kind of crazy to think we do this every week, huh?
We do. I don't remember doing it every week.
No, it doesn't feel like every week. It feels like it's every day.
Okay, it kind of does.
Where do I see myself in 10 years? Well, in all honesty, my hope is that this podcast will springboard a company that I can then open to the public and start hiring people and start telling people's stories.
Yeah.
That's my goal. I want to make a company called Media Light Productions that specializes in telling people's passionate stories. That's what I want to do. I want to give people the opportunity to tell their stories, because a lot of creatives don't have that space, that they don't have, whatever it is they may need. In 10 years, I hope to have a company that gives people that opportunity, that hires people that are passionate to help others create their stories and sort of give everyone a chance to tell their own story, whether it be small, whether it be big, whatever it is. I want to be the guy that spearheads letting other people tell their stories.
Yeah. I love that. I was watching, this is going to be the dumbest like segue or off topic. I was watching American Idol yesterday.
No, please go on. How am I like American Idol?
No, everything you just said is literally American Idol, because all the three judges, can't remember their names, but I was watching, obviously people come up and sing, and they were talking about like giving people chances. Some people just didn't quite hit it, and so they're like, please come back next year, like develop, hone your skills, and we would love to have you. We'd love to give you this opportunity to like show those bettered skills to the world. And there's some people like, you're there and we want to grant you this opportunity. So it's just interesting for you to, I mean, that is obviously you, and I know that's who you are, is like you want to give those opportunities to other people as well. And so you're American Idol. That's
Yeah,
all.
I'm American Idol.
Yeah.
I am.
You are the next American Idol.
I am the American Idol.
Yeah.
I'm
The little
only.
trophies they give out.
That's me.
You.
They're small versions of me.
Yeah.
No, I always say that if I can inspire one person to create with my art, then I've done enough.
That's your goal in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, once you've done that, you've made it.
Yeah, and so I think that me wanting to make this business is a perpetuation of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to inspire people. I want people to see what my company produces and be like, hey, I wonder if they'll let me tell my story. And I'll be like, if you are passionate about it, if you really want to tell this story and you know what you're talking about when it comes to this story, I'll do my best to make that happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do in 10 years. What about you? What do you want to do in 10 years?
You know, in 10 years, you'll be 31.
Yes, I do know that. And I hate it.
I hate it too. I really, because that's the first thing that came to my mind is like, what are you going to do in 10 years? Well, I'll be 31. I'll be 31. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'll be 31.
I'm going to have that same existential crisis as everybody does when they turn 30, aren't I?
Yeah.
All the
I think
creatives.
you, out of the two of us, you were more likely to have an existential crisis at 29 than at 30.
I think I'm more likely to have an existential crisis at 22.
I think I'm more likely to have an existential crisis right now.
Right, yeah, right now. It's interesting, and this is gonna shock everybody. So get ready. This is going down in the history books. I don't know what I'm gonna do in 10 years. And I'm like the person who always has to have a plan, and I don't know. I think I've finally reached a point, and I don't know what did it, but I feel like one day a switch just flipped in my head, and I was like, it's okay not to know. And it's real weird going 21 years being like everything has to be exactly planned out. I need to know this is when I'll get married, and this is when I'll have a house. This is, I'll have children. My career will be off. I'll be here and I'll be there. One day it just clicked in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to know those things. It'll happen.
Yeah, and wherever you end up, you'll be creating, and as long as you stay down this path.
I think, and that's all I can say in 10 years is that I hope I'm still creating. I've gone down a different path this semester, one that I really like. I've tried my hand at directing. I'd still love to direct, but I've done a lot of producing and planning and scheduling this semester, and I really enjoy that. I really enjoy just being on set. We had the smallest, again, we just have to have Josh on the podcast because I reference him so much. He should just be here.
I'm sure he would love to hear that.
He is, and he's going to text us at this exact moment. He's already on his phone right now texting us saying, oh my gosh, or whatever. You guys want me on the podcast again? Man, I forgot. No, after the improv show that you guys did, he was like so excited. He's like, that's what I love to do. I love just being up there and performing. And as soon as I got up there, it felt like I was just alive. And that's how I felt on the small little Kickstarter shoot that we did last Friday for a short film that I'm helping produce. I was just on, it's the smallest set in a classroom, but just cameras and people doing stuff, the energy in there. I was like, this is what I love. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. If I could be on sets for the rest of my life, I don't care what I'm doing. I could be a PA. I'd love it. I just love it. I think I'd be the best goddamn PA there ever was. You know, that's my dream in life, is to be like the top PA ever. Like everybody wants me on their short films or their films. Do I ever get hired? No, I'm just the top PA.
you classify as the best PA in existence.
That is my title. That's going to be on my business card, is the best, PA
in existence. They're like, how did you get this title? It was accredited. It was accredited to me.
That's, oh my God, I get my own little title card at the end of the movie's the best PA.
You have your own section in the credits.
Yes, that's what I aspire to be.
You're directing the movie and your credit still says the best PA.
Yes, 100%. Yes, it'll be there. I don't know where I'll be in 10 years. I want to still be creating. I want to be on film sets because that's when I feel the most alive. And it feels so great to have that space. Because for the longest time, I felt like there wasn't a space where I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And to like just have that moment and be reaffirmed in it, it was wonderful. So.
Well, that's amazing.
I know.
That's amazing. I'm excited. I think that things are heading in the direction that can put us where we want to be.
I think so. 100%.
I think it's just a matter of hard work. And that's the same for you guys. Like wherever you see yourself in 10 years, whether it's creating, whether it's not creating, whether creating is your passion, whether you just like listening to us talk about creating, like wherever you see yourself in 10 years, you can get there feasibly. You just have to put in the work. Like you have to put in the time. And that's something that's difficult. That's something that we're doing right now that we're so exhausted by, but like fulfilled by at the same time.
No, exhausted and fulfilled. And it's the weirdest combination. And it's kind of how when I was in high school, I was terrified to go to college. And I was asking all of my teachers at the time, like, what is college like? And what do I expect? And they're like, it's the worst and best time of your life. And I could not wrap my head around it. In my head, it was just like, no, it's just going to be the worst. They said it's the worst, so it's going to be the worst. It is the best and worst thing in your life, and being so exhausted by all of these creative things, but also being so fulfilled by them. It's such a weird thing that you won't understand until it happens. And it's
So just like don't give up on your passion projects. Don't give up on your future. Don't give up on where you see yourself, because it is feasible. It just takes hard work. And that's really the butt of it, I guess.
When you first said that, I turned to you with the smuggest look on my face, about to talk about all of my hard work to get me here. And then you kept talking, and I was like, no, stop being a narcissist.
No, I am cooler than you, but I will not say it out loud.
But look, I won't talk about it again.
Listen, you already know. He already knows.
Exactly. I don't need to state it again.
Yeah.
I need you to replay that moment when I was so smug and I was like, no. Not today. Not today. Not right now. Okay. The next question, if my phone will open and look at my face.
Oh,
okay.
I popped my fingy.
How does a creative plan for the future?
How do you plan for the future? That's a great fucking question.
I mean, I did it for a long time. And then you eventually just have to throw away the plan. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
What is-
but there is no plan.
What does Jesse say? Create the best plan and then plan to throw away the plan.
Yeah.
Is that what he's
Something like that.
Something like that. He preaches that like you have to plan to throw away the plan.
Yeah.
Because
That's not how he says it. I know what you're talking about because he said it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the gist of it.
It's like hope for the best, plan for the worst kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as a creative, it's difficult. And I know that we just said that, we're doing great. We're gonna be there in 10 years. That's 10 years. That's 10 whole years
Of hard work.
Hard work.
of feeling like this every day.
Mm-hmm. It's difficult to make creativity lucrative. It's difficult to make money off of being a creative. It's difficult to sustain yourself and especially a family. So it's when it comes to planning for the future, if you truly want to create, you have to put these things in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be times when you need a second job, when you need a third job, maybe, depending on where you end up. Or maybe where you're working, telling someone else's story that you're not super excited about, right? Or maybe just working like I'm an editor. I can work pretty much any media company that is hiring because I can just edit a video because no matter where you are, editing videos is always the same. It's always the same job. But whether or not you're enjoying what you're editing is a different story.
It is. And our professors have talked about that before. One of our tech guy, I don't know how else, the editing guy, he's talked about how he's had to work in composite for films that he just doesn't agree with, but you have to put food on the table somehow.
You do. And that compositing is a very, very well-paid job.
Compositing is a very well-paid job, but it is dying out because nobody wants to teach young people how to do compositing anymore.
Because
they want all the old people to...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Professor, you're not old.
It's difficult because, like we've said a lot, there is a bit of a gatekeepy side to creativity. It's old Hollywood. It's the old white dudes that are like, we've been doing it this way for however long we've been doing it, and this is the way that we're going to do it, and we're not going to teach you guys how to do it because then you'll start doing it.
You'll take our jobs.
Mm-hmm. Which is dumb because they're going to die.
You're going to die
and then
in
no
another
one else will
10 years, and then what are we going to do? You didn't teach anybody how to do it.
Yeah, so no more movies. So where was I going with this? Yes, you have old people suck.
Old people, man, just die already.
Oh my God.
No.
Just hurry up. Come on.
Just come on.
You got a foot in the grave. Just take another quick step.
Jason's gonna love this episode.
No, he's gonna love it.
I was gonna add something to that about oh no, there was the industry like being the same, or just I watched a film theory the other day with my roommate, and it was talking about something. Look, you're not there a lot anymore, so I hang out with Josh a lot, so all my stories revolve around Josh now, because this is the 5th time I'm going to bring him up. But I was hanging out with Josh the other day, and we were talking about how our phones need to, like, look at our faces to give us, like, all of our information now, and how one day in the future, our faces are probably going to be really valuable, and so we're all going to have to start hiding our faces so nobody can actually, like, steal our identity. And then we thought, how would that affect movies? And then Film Theory did a whole episode about actors in today's age, like for Marvel and Disney, even if they don't need like a digital like rendering of the actor or the character, they still take a digital rendering of you, so that you know what they're doing with Luke Skywalker in the Mandalorian or whatever. So if need be, though they say that it will never happen in their contract, but if need be, they now have your likeness in a fully like fledged out character that they can just composite anywhere, and they don't have to hire you or anything because now they have it. That fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's terrifying, that the thought behind it, right? Like they just have those composites. They say they use them, and they are used right now for like compositing in and of itself, because sometimes you need to have a reference of what the actor looks like in a 3D space to reconstruct him in some certain scenarios, because it's just the way that compositing works.
But even like minor characters in the I'm sorry, I'm taking everything from Film Theory, but in WandaVision, I just know her from that 70s show, the woman who plays the mom in that 70s show, she was a side character in WandaVision. She even got like a digital like rendering of herself, and like she's a side character who would in any like episode would she need to be digitally put into an episode? But they still have her. So if one day in 30 years they're like, we need to bring back that character, they have her in that age. Like, And the whole like aging process of like actors, like it doesn't matter anymore because we can get you when you're 20, we can get you when you're 30, 40, 50, and then we can use you forever.
Yeah. Which is terrifying.
It's really scary.
Really scary. How did we get here?
I don't know. I just wanted to talk about that. I wanted a place to vent about that because it bothers me. And I think it needs to be said. And I think it needs to be in contracts. I think laws need to be made about it now. And the thing that he was talking about, that Matt Pat was talking about, is that the actor is now becoming the character, because the reason that the companies can use it is because they classify it as the character. We're not using you, we're using the character. You are the character now. In contracts and in laws, it needs to state that you cannot, after the filming of this show, of this movie, you cannot use my likeness, my voice, anything that can be represented as me in anything ever again. I am signing up for this one movie. I might sign up for other movies in the future, but you cannot use my image in any other movies that I do not consent to. And it needs to be done. I don't know. I'm angry about it. What's the next question?
I don't know.
How do you realize and cultivate a dream?
How do you realize a dream? Hard work. I mean, we said it. It's
You got to do a lot of stuff. Like, I mean,
nice and descriptive.
No, I'm gonna explain it if you'd let me speak.
No, I'm no longer a feminist because you made me tell off my friend and my actions were. I was supporting the.
I'm such an asshole.
Such a dick.
I'm such a dick. I am. I feel so bad. It's. I mean, I think I'm one, especially with all these things. I can see the flip side of it. Like, I came from a place where I didn't know a dream, or I was terrified to try new things out. Just because I don't like change, just because I hate putting myself out there, but. If somebody would have told me, people did tell me when I was in that mindset, and it didn't help. And I'm going to tell you, and it's not going to help until you do it. But you just have to go out there and you have to try different things. You might not think that there's something out there for you right now. You don't have like a set dream. You're just kind of going through the motions. If you're feeling that way and you're feeling really hopeless about your future, you need to just start trying things. Just get out and take classes, I don't know, just you have to get out there. That's the only way that you're going to find that thing that you love.
That's true. I used to tell people back in high school when I was a junior and senior that they just needed to branch out. Like freshmen that are coming, they're like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm like, just do a bit of everything.
Do everything. Be in all the clubs. Be in all the sports. You might die, but you'll find something.
And you don't have to stick with everything. That's the thing, right?
You don't.
A lot of people think that like you start doing something, you got to stick with it, especially in the South. It is
a thing in the South.
It's like an honor and a pride thing. It's like, well, you said you were going to do it. I'm like, no, I don't have to do the thing. Even if I said I was going to do it. Like, if you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, quit doing what you're doing, find something you enjoy.
Yep.
So, and the same idea in college, spread your wings out, take some extra classes. You don't have to. See if you enjoy them more than what you're doing now. And then
be in a couple of clubs. I was in clubs freshman year that I am not in now because I didn't like them. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing projects and stuff for people that I didn't enjoy doing, that I've quit doing work. Quit working with those people because those people weren't great. And then 2, I've quit that project and that like stuff specifically. Like, you don't have to finish doing things that you don't enjoy. And a lot of creatives think like, oh, well, I've started, even with like projects. If you start doing a project and you're like, oh, I'm really passionate about this project and I've wanted to do it for so long, and you get into it and it's just not it anymore, you don't have to finish it. You can leave an unfinished project and you can move on to something that makes you happy. The most important part about realizing dreams, about being a creative, about doing things that you want to do, is making sure that while you're doing them, you're enjoying yourself. Even if it's stressful, even if it's exhausting, like we were saying, we're exhausted but fulfilled. We're tired, but we feel good about what we're doing and we really enjoy doing it.
I feel so productive. I go to bed every night feeling so productive. I'm tired and I wish that I could just sit and read, but I feel so productive.
And that's the thing, right? Like the joy that comes out of creating something that you truly want to create, something that you truly enjoy, the process of creating, what it takes to get it from a thought to a project. That joy that I feel when doing it trumps the joy of me being praised for being a good mathematician. I was really freaking good at math in high school. You were really freaking good at math in high
I'm
school.
still freaking good at math. I don't know what you're talking about. I did that the other night when we were at Denny's, and Josh fucking came for me, and I got so scared. But then I threw it back at him.
Yeah, by throwing me at him.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were really good at math. I was praised for my good grades. I was like, you're such a smart person. You're a smart person. You should go be an engineer. You should go be a smart person job. You should, I'd thrown around the idea of becoming an eye doctor, an optometrist for a really long time because I was like, well, everyone's telling me that I'm smart and that I should continue doing science. I could do it. I could have done it if I'd done the hard work.
I was going to say, I could have gone into engineering. I could have easily done something in math, not science. I hate science. Could have easily done something in math, but it goes back to what we're talking about, like finding a dream. Like that wasn't it. I knew I could do it, but I wouldn't be happy doing it.
No.
And that's something I have to tell my friends, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'd say all my friends, you can't do anything for the money. There are so many people that I had in my life, have in my life, who want to pursue things because it will make them rich. It'll give them a really nice, luxurious life, and you can't do things for the money. You just can't, because you're going to hate your life. If you don't love what you're doing, you're going to hate your life.
Yeah. My parents said for a long time, like, you have to have a job you hate before you can find a job that you love, which is like, to the fact it's like, of course, there's going to be things that you're going to be doing that you're going to hate.
Yeah.
You're going to hate doing
But you need to put money, you need to put food on the table.
You need to do that. And that's part of the planning thing. That's part of like working for the future is doing the job you hate so that you can finally create the thing that you love, so that you can finally go on to work on that passion project. So you can start up a company, you can get on a film set, you can do all of these things, but you have to put in the work behind it, and you have to be happy with the work that you're putting in, you know?
So let me ask you, because I feel like we've contradicted ourselves, or maybe not, but just to round it out. Earlier, we were talking about finishing a project and how finishing a project can be like so cathartic, and it feels great when you finally get that done. It might not be perfect, but you got it done, compared to not finishing a project because you're not so in love with it anymore. There is burnout, and you might fall in and out of love with a project. How do you know which ones to abandon and which ones to stick with?
I think for me, it would come down to my people around me. I don't think any creative should be creating alone. I think that is sad.
It is sad. You're a lonely bitch, and you should find some friends.
No, I think that you should surround yourself with people that are creative with the intent of creating as much as you do, like with the joy of creating as much as you do, because those are the people you can look at and be like, is this project worth finishing? Is this something that I really, from what you've seen, am I passionate about this project, or am I doing this project because I feel like I should be? For me, that's would be the main deciding factor. If you don't have a creative group to fall on, or to lean on, or to ask these questions to, I think you really just have to introspect. You have to think about why you started the project. If you're still passionate about why you started it, if the story that you're telling is something that you're still really, really resonating with, then you need to backtrack. You need to find where you lost that, and then maybe start from there, or, realize that, well, the project has changed, and see if it's new direction. Like we talked about when we talked about like creating and conceptualizing ideas. If this new direction is something that I'm still passionate about, can I find a passion in this project? If you really try your hardest to like look within yourself to see if you can find that passion, and you just can't find something that you connect to with this story anymore, then I think that's when you should abandon the project, and you should either completely abandon it or go back to the drawing board and sort of redesign the project, find some way to instill that passion in you again. And that's what I would do. That's how I would mark that difference.
Yeah, we've touched on this before when we were talking about how to write a story, about if you're no longer in love with the story, if it no longer like you have that passion for it. Yeah, go back to your roots, find what the message you were trying to tell, the theme that you were trying to get across. And if you have to tell the story a different way, then tell it a different way. I mean, you can always go back on a project until it's completed. Like, unless it's like done being edited, everything's done, you can always go back and rework things and rewrite things and reshoot things. So.
Yeah. And there is a like an expectation to it. Sometimes it's difficult to quit a project, especially if you're tied up by finances or you're tied up by this and that. So there are scenarios in which I can see you having to finish a project, but when it comes down to your passion project, this is your thing and you're the person putting the most into it, both like monetarily or time wise, if you're not spending any money on it. Like if it's your project and you're the guy that's building it, then I think that you have a right and you owe it to yourself to make this what you wanted it to be. And if it's not going to become that, then to take a step back, go to the drawing board, maybe drop it if it needs to be dropped or whatever, you know. It's a case-by-case basis. There's no one set rule that says whether or not this is my going to finish this project or this is my I need to drop this project. It's really is a case-by-case basis and about how you feel as the creative.
Yeah, it's hard that you have to. Being creative really requires you to be introspective, and to figure out the stories that you want to tell, the messages that you want to get across, and really finding like what you're passionate about. I mean, I feel like that's the whole theme about. I mean, you have to know what you want to do. You have to do everything to find what you love to do, and then from there you can make a plan or you can throw away the plan. And yeah, it takes a lot of introspection. It can be hard for some people. It was hard for me.
Yeah, I think to round it all out, like that's really what it's all about.
And that's it.
That's it.
That's how you round it out.
And that's it. It is about introspection. It's about looking into yourself, and that's what you said. Yeah, difficult for people. It was difficult for me for a long time.
It was difficult for me. Yeah.
And it's a learning process, not only because you have to learn the skills to do the things, but you have to learn how to tell your story and what your story is.
How do you do the things?
Yeah. How am I going to tell stories, and how is that important and different?
Why does that matter? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those are all questions that you should be asking yourself when you're creating projects or when you're looking at your passions and seeing these things. And there are questions that I ask myself frequently. The other day I had an existential crisis because I was like, is this it? Is this my life? Is this what I'm doing? And then I was like, yeah.
And if you ask yourself those questions and you're like, no, this isn't, then change it. You can 100%. You can quit that job. You can change. It's not over until it's over. It's not over until you're in the ground. So if you need to go back to school, if you need to quit your job, find a new job. If you need to, you can do it. You can always go back.
Yeah. And the only thing stopping you is you. It's the hard work that you can put in. It's the time and what you have to give, you know, and that's the biggest thing in your way. So get out of your own damn way and start making things.
The people that are in their own damn way aren't going to listen. Life's just going to smack them in the face one day and they'll be like, oh yeah, I see it now.
Yeah.
Because that's how it is. But you'll see it one day.
You will.
When you do come back and comment on this video.
Yeah, do that specific thing.
Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
On YouTube. If you're on Spotify, you can still like our episodes.
Can you?
Yeah.
On Spotify?
I think so.
On Apple Podcasts, you can rate the podcast.
You should 100% rate our podcast.
Rate it 5 out of 5.
Rate it 6 out of 5.
As a bit, rate it 1 out of 5.
No. Don't. Please don't. No, please rate it 5 out of 5.
Or rate it 3 out of 5.
If you really think it deserved a 3, that's okay. That's okay.
I would also rate it a 4 out of 5.
Please don't rate it a 1 out of 5 because that'll tank us.
And the only rating we have right now is a 5 out of 5.
That's great. Let's keep it like that.
We're a 5-star podcast.
We are. They're going to put us on the webpage so people can easily find us.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's what they do. We should be telling people 100% in every episode to rate us 5 out of 5.
Rate us 5 out of 5.
On Apple Podcasts.
And Spotify, if you can do that.
That's what I was checking. I was like, why did I get on my phone? I'm in the middle of recording a podcast.
Also, play our episodes on loop when you're sleeping.
Yes, please. Oh my gosh.
Just nonstop. Play every episode every night. We've got over 45 hours of content.
Mm-hmm.
So you could play it for
easily listen to it every night.
Yeah, just like play it and then like I'll update playlists and just play them. Just like get help, please. God, help.
I lied. You can't like our episodes. Now I'm sad, but you can download them. And you can share them. You should share them.
Share them. Share them with your friends. Maybe your family. But mostly your friends.
Yeah. We're not family. We're not. I don't think parents would like us.
Yeah, I don't know if you were like, hey, Dad, check out this cool cursing kid that tells us he knows everything about what he does. and this other dude.
I'm the cursing kid?
Yeah, you said dick like 6 times.
I did, and I said whore, and I said bitch. Look, guys, I don't know what it was today. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I regret a lot of things.
But mostly saying dick.
Yeah, that's on the internet forever.
Mm-hmm. Thanks so much for joining us on this intellectual journey. We will catch you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Can you say dick one more time? No. Like, just really mad.
No.
Media for the Intellectually Impoverished is hosted by Trey Taylor Smith and Miranda Randy Zapes.
Produced by Cam Ritchie and edited by Kat Trapella.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at MFTII Podcast.
Subscribe to our YouTube at Media for the Intellectually Impoverished or email us at mftiipodcast@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening.